So I'm a firm believer in the term knowledge is power. But I'm also a firm believer in the saying that goes, if you ever want to hide the truth from someone, put it in a book. Ever since I've been able to pick up a book and turn a page, I've always questioned what I read. But there are some questions in life that you just don't want the answers to. Unless you're curious like a little monkey searching for an adventure, and because of that, I always find myself in tight spots without a man wearing a yellow hat to help me maneuver elsewhere. But I've always looked at this world as being an open book to possibilities, so naturally, I should be well knowledgeable in distinguishing the difference between what is fact and fiction. But facts are becoming more fabricated than the paper they are printed on. Case in point, September 11th, 2001, it is stated that America suffered its first terrorist attack on its own soil by the use of airplanes. But this country doesn't want to recall the Tulsa race riots of 1921, when America dispatched 6 biplanes to Tulsa to drop incendiary bombs and fire rounds on a so-called Negro uprising, killing over 300 blacks. Maybe they didn't see this as terrorism, but more like a chance to burn an old crop to render it useless. Now, once I stumbled across a book on medicine, and from there began to pick up the pace on how we are always racing towards a cure. Now, sure, advances have become costly over the years, but the price of life and intelligence has made it for it easy. I mean, the Ohio State prison system once injected live cancer cells into inmates to find some type of results, while FDA manufactured a new drug to calm down children's mild complaints by taking placebo, spelling it backwards just to redistribute it as Obicorp to help double their profits. I'm now starting to question the authenticity within this written scripture. So I guess it's best that I look towards a good book, because they said it in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and God's Word will always reign supreme as long as it's the King James Version. No, wait. No, it has to be the New International one, or one of the other 50 books that was produced since the original. So if the red ink that I'm reading isn't actually coming from him, what am I to believe? How can I state these facts for us Americans to understand when America doesn't even have an official language to comprehend? Food for thought. There are more libraries built here than McDonald's, but we're so quick to intake toxins over knowledge because we find it easier to digest. Facts have become a ninth wonder of the world, wishing it still exists, and I know I'm on stage sounding like I'm getting high off of my own words. But that would be no different than taking a Declaration of Independence, rolling it up, and smoking it since it was written on hemp paper. Now, Patrick Henry was asked to help draft the Constitution, but refused because he stated that he smelled a rat. Now, years later, you have more than one running around Capitol Hill, cutting up government cheese to feed to these low-income neighborhoods. But come to think about it, if a pro is a positive and a con is a negative, then I guess the opposite of progress should be Congress. But like I said, ever since I've been able to pick up a book and turn a page, I've always questioned what I read, which means it should be better to know a little more than a lot. But what can I determine now if we don't even know the difference between what is fact and fiction? So I know you guys are enjoying yourself right now. I see you standing up probably in your rooms, your dorm rooms, or wherever you're at, just wondering all his poems and stuff. So if you're enjoying yourself, normally what we do at poetry events, we tell you to snap your fingers and everything like that. So if you like what you're hearing, snap, have fun with it. So the unique thing about poetry is that poetry is another form of storytelling. I mean, you have your novels, you have a lot of things that comes with storytelling. Poetry is one of those things that it gives you the need to create so many things in such a tight time frame. So the great thing about poetry, it also gives you a chance to tell your life story in a sense. So me being who I am, aside from being a spoken word artist, I'm also a military vet. Served the military for 7 years, been deployed twice, part of a Wounded Warrior Project as well. And the great thing about Wounded Warrior Project is that it gave me a chance to help other veterans find their voice, especially when it comes to dealing with their trauma, PTSD, and everything of that nature. So this particular poem is near and dear to me because not only does it deal with my life, it deals with veterans out there as well. Left. Left. Right. Left, right, left. They say to always practice your cadence because practice makes perfect. Left. Left behind a lot of things to get to where I am. Right. Right choices is what I thought were being made as people's eyes transform into escalators because they can't seem to make less stairs. Left. Father said that the military can turn boys into men. Right. But never fully explain how some paths can come to the end of the road. Left, right. Father knew this cadence very well. Once was a decorated soldier who now became a shell-shocked replica of his past. So these steps are now embedded in his brain. The voices that are now starting to climb up his vertebrae are telling him the best way to hide from his problems is to run. So he left, right, left. A son wants to go overseas to fight the war just to come right back when the war is over. But when you're exposed to the same BS as your father, how do you expect not to have a mindset to match? Left, the old me thousands of miles back in the dirt. Right, to be back in my own country, now living in the dirt. Left, a war-torn country with patriotism as my job. Right to patriotism becoming a painful reminder that it may not get you a job once it is done with you. Right to a bottle to drink away my sorrow. Left with the empty bottle to remind me of promises and commitments unfulfilled. Excuse my forgetfulness. Seems that my mind is starting to leave me like all of my family has. Now I'm left without a pot to piss in, right into my own clothing. Can't be pissed off if I'm pissed on, right? Left with medals of merit, but nothing is right when these medals don't get you an app. I swear, if I can afford a smartphone, that may be my best way to keep my hands on a lot of them. Left standing in the road asking for change, right in front of you in the road standing with my hands out asking you for change. Excuse me, is your name Isaac Hayes? Because your song must be playing in the background if you think you can just walk on by. Left fighting wars that I can no longer win when my right to freedom of speech seems null and void. Why put a price on truth if people choose they can't afford to pay attention? So what is there left to do when everything you loved and fought hard for has turned its back on you? You pray that death is right around the corner because it can come so easy. Left. Left. Right. Left, right, left. They say to always practice your cadence because practice makes perfect, especially when there's nothing left. Right? Left. All right, y'all. So this is part of the performance where we give people a chance to breathe, especially when it comes to heavy poems. So if you're watching this, take the time to breathe. If you know people that's been through this, take the time to breathe. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Sometimes poems are serious. Sometimes poems can be seriously funny. For example, on a particular morning, we'll just say it's today, I woke up mad at everything. Seriously. I know I'm not the only person that did this. I know you're probably in your dorm room or something, waking up, getting mad because you got to go do schoolwork. But hear me out. I literally woke up mad about everything. For example, I woke up mad about money because money happens to be the constant love of my life that I love to hold in my hands. But when all these bills come around on the 1st and 15th, she decides to run off and be with them for some reason. Today, I woke up mad at any word that ends with ship. Friendship, companionship, relationship. Because most ships, they may sink sooner or later. Today, I woke up mad at my boss because he makes his work my work. If I knew I were going to be your doppelganger, I would have went ahead and start working at Planet Fitness, standing outside, spinning that sign around like a propeller so I could fly away from being on this earth. Since we're talking about working out, I woke up mad at the gym because before I even started looking like this, I was cool, sitting at home eating pizza, watching Netflix until I see some trapezius muscle, T-Rex arm having person walking around making my self-esteem tank like a Mariah Carey's New Year's performance. You know what? Today, I decided to wake up and be mad about breathing. Like the air is polluted and we all know this. So I'm going to stop breathing in front of y'all right now. Now I'm mad at not breathing because I could have died and y'all probably sitting there laughing and they didn't do nothing about it. You know what? I'm mad at everything. Ugh. Relax. Have fun. Sometimes even being angry, you have to laugh at the certain things that go on in your life. I wrote that poem literally laughing while writing that poem because it's the human nature to get mad. It's the human nature to smile. And we're at a point where in this world, in the current climate we have to find those reasons to smile. We have to find those reasons for joy. Because if we don't, then sometimes it takes us to a dark place. I don't know about many of y'all, but I've been in dark places. Some places that are hard to come from. But sometimes you find those folks that help you out of them. Guardian angel, so to speak. So, the quick story to this is that one year, I ended up seeing a stage play for It's a Wonderful Life. Good Christmas movie. Never was meant to make it as big as it was because they showed it on TV, but then it ended up becoming a cult classic for Christmas. Fun fact about that. And it's crazy how art imitates life. Every morning before I wake up, correction. Every morning up until now, I would wake up, sit at the edge of my bed as if it was a bridge, thinking that today would be the day. The day when I let a bullet enter my head and convince my brain to play father leader on its way out, or the day when the cops removed the noose so that my neck will show you the smile I've been dying for this world to see. I felt this world no longer held promise. The state of North Carolina revoked my passport to go overseas because they feel that no matter how many times me and my son get together and make music in the key of life, it won't let me escape the perception that the only thing a black father can produce is a deadbeat. My job fired me after almost 10 years of working with them, which goes to show that no matter how long you hold on to things like water to a wash rag, things like this world will get rid of you once it has wrung you out to dry. When I look at myself in the mirror, I'm reminded of what's to be expected. Because to be a male, it is expected for you to be strong and vigilant, to take nothing and make it into something. But what happens when you no longer can? What happens when that optimism within your voice begins to go silent and your depression becomes more of a black hole because the bigger it gets, the more the negative energy begins to pull you inside? You see, a friend once told me that the body is made up of over 60% of water and that crying is the slowest way to suicide. So I thought, if I dehydrate myself, maybe that would be the best way to expedite this process. You see, the world was no longer in need of me, and all the friends and family that I drug along the way would be better if I detox myself out of their system. See, when you have been beaten and broken, that you're just tired of rewriting your life story over and over and over again, the only thing you want to do is just rip it into shreds. But that was every day up until now. You see, there was a moment when I woke up, and for some reason I heard a voice whispering in my head telling me that if I did not live, that if I was not here, I would not know about the many things that would come into my life later. For example, My mom told me on Christmas Day that the greatest gift God ever gave her was erasing the word abortion out of her mind so that way I would know what it's like to taste my first breath. Or the fact that if I was not here, I would have not written a poem about me being a soldier and having PTSD and veterans coming up to me thanking me because that poem became their voice when they had lost theirs to live. Or the fact that if I was not here, I would have not have met my wife. I would have not have been the greatest father to my son. Or the fact to tell you that no matter what storm you are going through, the sun is there fighting its way through it to let you know it's still here to shine. You see, I never met a Clarence on a Christmas day to tell me that it's a wonderful life, but I've been surrounded by so many guardian angels that they kept me safe from everything, even my own self-destruction. So today, I woke up knowing that today would be the day. The day to say that it's okay to not be okay, but the fact that God still placed you here to see the sun rise again because you are needed for a purpose. And it doesn't take a Christmas miracle to let you know that this life can and will always be a wonderful one. We breathe. We enjoy ourselves. We fight our way through that darkness. And we live. Even at some point, you have to find the good within the bad, the humor within the tragedy, the life that you were given. Before I end this, I would like to say thank y'all for sitting here and enjoying every word and every moment that you've heard today. But I have to end on a fun note because I feel that aside from everything else, I will always be known as a nerd. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I say this to everyone out there, regardless of what anyone thinks of you, regardless of what anyone says about you, always be you and always remember that great things come to those who be true and purpose over popularity. So I should have said this at the beginning because don't be alarmed. I'm a black man that likes to read and play video games. And there's nothing better than the sensation you get when you read manga. I mean, Dragon Ball Z happens to be one of my favorites next to Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, Bleach, and Naruto. Vegeta hands down, but you know what? Let's talk about something else because some of y'all that's probably watching this looking like y'all may not know what I'm talking about. Cool. I get it. Video games. Final Fantasy IV happens to be one of my favorites, though America considers that part 2 for some reason, but that's just a minor inconvenience. You see, Dragoon Kane was the best character, and for those who used him, they used jump instead of fight, because that took away the most HP. I see you. What's with all the confused look on y'all faces? It's okay. I can't blame you. I can't blame people that give me a gaze that replicates 1,000 convicts or waiting for the parole board to grant them freedom. You see, I wondered, when did this country decide that by skin color, you had to act out a certain stereotype? Maybe some of y'all would have understood me if I talked about Madden or NBA 2K, maybe recited some hip-hop lyrics while dreaming out balling in Saint-Tropez. You see, this thought came to me when I was driving from the RDU airport one morning. In this eggshell white truck that hinted Confederacy raced down the road, almost ran me off, and while doing so, they rolled down their window and they yelled out, "Wake up, monkey." And it's like the movie of my life stopped, but I wish I could have turned my mirrors to them so they could see how stupidity cloaked their persona. Maybe I should have educated them more than their pre-K Sesame Street mindset was transfixed upon. You see, in this world, if the only colors we understand is black and white, then it's not a problem for us to get lost in this gray area of equality. But ignorance comes in many shades and faces. So when I think of ignorance, I give it the face of any celebrity that's went through 7 or 8 failed marriages and is trying to write a self-help book on how to fix your relationship. You see, ignorance are those folks who will stand in line and get themselves a game system or a pair of Jordans, but they won't stand in line and vote, then have the audacity to complain about what's going on with the current administration. So for those folks who judge me when I walked on this stage, thinking that the human thing to do is judge the hue that lies within this man, will understand I will look at most cartoons over most reality TV shows, listen to old school ballads instead of some music that now talks about one thing, and here's something that shocks a lot of my black friends. I eat chicken without the hot sauce. You see, I wasn't born to act accordingly. You see, this smile has a melody behind it that replicates 1,000 rainbows, which means I have a Bobby Blue blend of soul, a Simply Red persona of passion on a green day. So when the blues walk alongside me on this boulevard of broken dreams, I'll keep holding on and hope to have the times of my life. You see, the time is right, and we need to wake up. And for those who judge you for being different, outside of their norm, you tell them, don't be alarmed, because I'm here to live my life just like